that. All right. So this is the October 13 meeting of the Groton Inland Wetland Agency. David Scott is the chair. Staff tonight is Deb Jones and Linda Galetta. There will be an opportunity for the public to address the commission. That would be under public communications, and you will have to raise your virtual hand in order to do that. On an Apple device, you can find it at the top of your screen. On the PC, it's at the bottom. On the phone, it's *9. If you are an applicant, there's no need to raise your hand. I'll see you and we will allow you to talk when it's your turn for the agenda item. All right.
All right. Do you have any public communications, Deb?
I do not.
Okay. Approval of the minutes of September 22nd.
Make a motion to approve the minutes of September 22nd.
Second it.
Okay,
I have a
discussion.
comment. There's a typo on page 4 on the bottom of the first paragraph. It should say a gabion instead of a galleon.
Good spotting, Gary.
Well,
Okay.
That's okay.
With that change noted, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? None. Okay. Minutes of the October 5th site walk.
Make a motion to approve the minutes of the site walk.
We have a second.
Second.
Okay. Discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. All right. Since
I abstain.
you're abstaining, okay, because you weren't there. No new applications, so 80 Star Street, the Devlin residence.
I see Ian Cole is here, the soil scientist, so let me get him on screen here. And I see the owner is also here. So Ian, I can share the plan if you need the plan.
Sure.
Hang on just a minute. All right, there you go.
Great. Good evening, everybody. For the record, Ian Cole, soil scientist of record for this application. Asked tonight to be here on behalf of Killingley Engineering, the applicant, and the developer, Norton Wheeler. Last week, we had a site walk. I believe everybody tonight was in attendance at that. We had a pretty full site walk. We walked the alignment of the driveway. We saw where the proposed wetland crossing was, and then we ended our tour kind of at the terminus of the driveway. We're kind of standing where there's the temporary stockpile. So just to review the proposal again, this would be the construction of a single family residence and support structures such as the proposed garage and other features. And the driveway crossing would necessitate filling in approximately 1,800 square feet of wetlands that were newly added on to this plan, which were not previously delineated in the 2010 plan. My understanding is that utilities were put in as part of that 2010 plan that was approved by the commission, as well as the start of the entrance driveway. And then that pretty much looks like it terminated once those utilities were kind of stubbed in, and the project basically just put the initial apron footprint in. So that's where the proposal's at today. And look forward to answering any questions the commission may have or town staff.
So let me
How
just,
far did the utilities go in? Could you
I-
show your arrow?
so Barbara, I think they're right here, just past the wetland,
Oh, okay.
because there wasn't a house to connect them to, so they just installed, they didn't, the previous owner just wanted to get the work done that was allowed by the permit, and just finish that portion of it. Just to remind you guys, this was the previous permit, and you can see the wetland delineation in 2010 following my cursor. And the driveway is here, it's shaded in gray, and so they did install the utility lines about up to here, where you can, my cursor.
Oh,
Deb, was the construction of that house up closer to High Street, that was done after we approved this application?
That's correct. This
Yeah.
2010 wetland permit was issued before the owner then went and split off this property.
Right.
And then that house was constructed. That's correct.
And that drainage from that house, are we seeing that on this map?
In terms of footing drains or roof
Well,
drains?
Well, I was thinking of roof drains, yes, and if they had any curtain drains or whatever that might have added to some of this difference and you know, what we're seeing on the current map.
I don't know. I can pass that on to Norm Tebow, the design engineer. We did have staff review earlier this week. There's a number of, there's a good deal of information that I've asked for to support the application, as well as an analysis of alternatives. So tonight, if you have any questions of Ian, that would help you decide whether or not you want to classify this as a major application and hold a public hearing, or as a minor application. This is the opportunity to do that.
What's the classification of the wetland area under the road?
Under the road, that would be classified as basically a palustrine emergent wetland. Basically, it's a Phragmites wetland. So it's all of that area is disturbed. The soils throughout are disturbed. In my opinion, that is an area of wet fill that has been placed on top of native ground. As pointed out before, I don't know if the development upslope somehow was a contributing factor to increasing the footprint of the wetness. If it was a situation of material that was imported, or if the utility lines in some way, fashion helped contribute to the wetland, increasing in size. But the wetland in question is a Phragmites wetland that we walk through on the sidewalk.
Mm.
I wonder if I could ask a few questions just to get educated. Can you guys hear me?
yep.
All right, so what do you, as I see this plan, basically any runoff that's now going to be created as a result of building this road, do you anticipate the runoff to actually run off through the gabion into the wetland, or are you going to channelize it all into that drain that goes underneath the area that crosses over the wetland? And what do you think that might do in terms of disturbance? Are you going to concentrate water through that one pipe?
So sure. So water directed to maintain the conveyance of flow under the driveway does have a riprap outlet protection. So that would de-energize the flow as non-erosive sheet flow. So that wouldn't be a contributing factor to increasing some negative adverse effect to the wetlands by introducing, say, a source for sediment erosion. And in terms of redirecting the stormwater coming off of that house, those pipes were sized and designed by a professional engineer. Unfortunately, Killing Engineer is not here tonight to answer those drainage issues directly.
So you don't see any water draining through the gabions off the road down eventually into the wetland?
If it did so, it would be a sheet flow. The way that the grading is designed here does not create a point of concentration.
Interesting. And the other thing I was thinking of is permeable asphalt. Okay, do you see any potential utility of permeable asphalt, at least over
Well,
the area that
per-
fronts a wetland?
Permeable asphalt's kind of an oxymoron. There really is no such thing as permeable asphalt, especially in
More permeable. Okay.
more permeable, right?
Okay, but
You know, I'd
I was
have
just
to.
thinking about trying to maintain the natural drainage as much as
Yeah,
possible.
no, I get the point at all. And, you know, yeah, I don't think something of that nature would have an appreciable effect on the runoff on a site of this size.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, permeable concrete is on the market.
Yeah, so is permeable asphalt. I do a lot of work with permeable things like that, asphalt,
Mm.
concrete. No, I was just thinking about how to maintain, how would you try to, if you wanted to try to maintain the natural drainage, what would you do? You know, that's all I'm thinking. And all. So, and so I thought at least putting some permeable asphalt in the area where the road crosses the wetland area might be something to consider. But nonetheless, I assume the road is the driveway is going to be asphalt, correct?
We must have lost them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that it's called out on the plan. I will
Mm.
note in
I don't see a note. Is there a
2010,
note?
you did
Can you hear me?
we can now.
I'm
we can.
sorry. I'm sorry for the delay. The driveway, as is called out on the plans, is to be a paved driveway. The call out is up, if you look at the graphic, between the proposed residence and the proposed garage, you can kind of see a little call out in the center there.
So in 2010, the agency did require the area where that was over 15% in slope to be paved in the previous permit.
But otherwise it was gravel, right?
Yeah, under the old permit it was.
Yes, okay.
I'm of the opinion that the wetlands would be much better served if they bridge the wetlands in some way and not dig in and impact them. I don't know how the contractor feels about that, but
The engineer is going to look at that as an alternative.
yeah.
Good.
Going to have to be quite a bridge because I'm assuming they're going to bring concrete trucks in there and oil trucks and other kinds of very heavy vehicles.
That is a good point, and to keep in mind to build something on footings to span something like that, your excavations may exceed the disturbances for embedding the driveway in a traditional sense.
No way.
Yeah, no way, no way. Don't buy it.
No way. I mean, if you're filling in total the piers for a bridge across there, it cannot be as great as filling in the whole area. There's no way.
I'm of the same opinion that you are, Dave. Yeah, this is after the site walk. I like I'm our new members' questions also too about, you know, how they're going to disperse the water with their present plan. I have so many questions about this. So many questions about this application.
Yeah, I don't see any answer.
As I mentioned in the field, so I'm hoping that we are going to classify this as, I'm going to make a motion that we classify this as major, just based on in the field. And that will warrant a public hearing. And as I mentioned to Deb at the sidewalk, you know, I'm hoping that we can get an independent soil scientist, some expert, you know, remember how we used to be able to hire our own experts for this stuff so that we can really have an unbiased opinion on this, because I think it's a pretty significant application, although it's just a single family house. I know it's not a subdivision and all that kind of stuff, but I just feel pretty strongly that this is significant.
I agree, Eunice. This is a very sensitive site.
Yeah. I like that
So-
word better. Thank you, Barbara. Sensitive. You're right. I should have said sensitive.
And there's
So
massive
you-
wetlands just
You-
below it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's right.
So you do have the ability to classify this as a complex application. But I would need more direction from you as to what exactly you're looking for. I mean, a soil scientist would review the wetland boundary if you're questioning the wetland boundary. I don't get the sense that that's the case here. So
No,
I'm
that's
not sure what you're looking for.
Okay. Thank you. That's good, Deb. So what are we looking for? Another opinion on how would be best to get across this wetland? The most not environment, but the most protection for the wetland that's there. And also to me, to answer the questions that you guys very brilliantly brought up before I was able to speak, I could just listen, but you know, why the configuration of this wetland changed over 11 years. I mean, I think that's rather important. I've been on this agency forever, as you know, and I've never, to my memory, which is getting, you know, harder and harder, but I don't ever remember there being an application where the wetland boundaries changed this significantly. So to me, there has to be something going on. And I'd love to know that. So maybe we need, I don't know what we need, Deb. I defer to you as always, your brilliant mind. I just have questions.
Okay. Okay. So it may be another engineer rather than a soil scientist. Because again, I'm not getting the sense you're questioning this particular boundary.
No, you're right.
Okay.
Well, the
Alright.
other question I have too is the proximity of that garage to the wetland boundary, you know, up there. So, you know, there's a few things on this site that, you know,
So here's the garage and
Yeah.
the upland review area, you know, clips the
yep,
corner, a portion of it.
yes.
And I also had a question about the utilities and sewage running through that wetland. If ground is moving and settling, I don't know what the engineered solution is to keep everything together.
I'm not sure I know I mean, the sewer from the house will be discharged to the municipal system in the street by
Yeah, I'm
pipe. There's not a septic system.
But there are pipes. So I'm
Right.
just thinking if the ground is moving because there's water,
Okay,
I'm just wondering if they'll be fragile,
got it.
especially with trucks going over them.
You'd have to replace the fill with some, more appropriate gravel.
If they were not installed properly. Yeah,
Oh, the previous ones, right.
right, yeah.
I do think that we need to have them look into how to go over that as opposed to destroying it. That'll be one of the larger areas of wetlands that we have allowed filled in many years, so
Yep.
gives me trouble.
Mhm.
It's really too
I'll
bad he
second the
didn't.
motion.
We
Sorry,
have a
Barb.
motion, right? Eunice
Yeah, I'll
made
second.
and a second. The motion is to classify this site as a major. Any discussion on that? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? All right. And the next date for public hearing would be November 10th.
That's right. You have to open the hearing within 65 days of the date of receipt, and that is November 26th. So the last meeting before the 26th is the 10th. That's right. And the engineer is aware of that date.
All right.
Can I ask a process question with respect to the applicant? So are we, Deb, do we write letters? I mean, so that they know exactly what the issues are that they have to respond to?
Yeah, that's the point of our staff review meetings that we have. They've gotten comments from Public Works, from the building official, and from me in the review of this project. So they know what they need to address. I mean, I will let them know. Yeah, I'll let them know a couple of the questions that came up tonight, so they'll address that as well.
All right, thank you.
And Deb, just let me ask you the same question I've been asking you for the past 6 months. So when are we going to be in real life? Honestly, I don't know if am I the only one that just struggles with this? I just, and so now we're going to hold a public hearing with this form.
Right. So, and I'm going to give you the same answer that I've been giving you. I don't know. Right now, the room is still fairly torn apart. They're waiting on parts to bring it together. There's still a mask mandate for all town buildings, actually everywhere in Groton, as well as social distancing. So that makes it quite difficult to hold a hearing in person as well. We at the Planning and Zoning Commission, we have been holding hearings with some success, good success actually with this, with more participation than we would have gotten otherwise, because people are quite comfortable Zooming in when they're on vacation, or, if they want to attend the meeting. So to make it easier for you folks, I mean, we can provide paper copies of everything if that would help you to follow along. I know on the screen, it can be, especially if you're using a small screen device, it can be really hard to see what's going on. I mean, something else we can offer is if there are only one or two of you, I mean, we can meet at the annex and do it on a large screen, if that would help.
I think
but yeah.
I think I might take it that next time.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so we can get that figured out by the 10th if the room is not put together. And I mean, we have to have it figured out fairly soon, because we've got to publish legal ads, and the applicant actually has to notify folks within 150 feet of this and tell them how to participate. So we need to know if we're doing it in person or doing it via Zoom.
Okay.
Is there any chance of the senior center?
I don't know. I would have to look at their schedule.
Okay.
So I can explore that.
All right. Thank you, Deb.
Yep.
Thank you, Deb. So do you need a motion, Deb, the public hearing on the November 10th, or is just the
No,
major?
that's fine. The major is what I needed the motion for.
Okay.
Okay, I don't have anything else to talk about. Other than that one that's Bruce's on High Street. How's
Okay,
that?
let me get rid of this and get this all back here. Okay, so you don't need anything else from Ian or Mr. Devlin?
No,
Okay.
I don't think so. We're gonna have a
Okay.
public hearing. There'll be plenty of opportunity for them to present whatever they need.
Okay, great.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Bye.
So just as a reminder to everyone, with a public hearing, I mean, everything has to be done at the hearing, right? So no discussing it with other agency members. If somebody comes up and talks to you about it, make sure you disclose that at the hearing. Everything's got to be done in the hearing. Okay, haven't had one in a while.
Yeah, I know.
I should just mention that I did visit the site separate from the group.
Great.
That's right.
Awesome.
Deb, how's Bruce's project on High Street coming?
No, I was out there actually this week. There's grass growing on the slope. The slope looks to be about 3-to-1 to me, with boulders at the bottom. So they stabilized it with matting, with seed embedded in the matting, and the grass is coming up.
Great.
Also noticed it's for sale, but
I did notice that too when I drove.
yeah,
Oh, hell.
Could I get the address of that High Street?
it's probably 0 High Street, frankly. It's
It
across, it's across High Street from Mystic Manor, the nursing home.
I went back and forth, in and out, up and down. I couldn't
And
find
it's,
it.
yeah,
There's a huge pile of dirt near the street.
And it's
Okay.
closest to Sandy
There more than
Hollow.
one High Street. I don't know. And,
I'll send you a map. How's that?
that would be great. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's before you come to Sandy Hollow and before you come to the open field where the horses graze.
Mhm.
Clearly, I was not on the right High Street.
No.
No horses. Uh-huh.
All right, Deb, you have anything?
I have one
Do not.
I have one quick thing. I want to let you guys know that Robin Silsby called me. I don't know when, you know me, I lose track, but she lives on Rhonda Drive, right?
That's right.
And so she's having concerns about a property, my sense is adjacent to where she lives, and asked if we had received an application for anything in that area. And I said, no, we had not. I did say that I remembered, again, in the dark ages, we had some preliminary application in that area. I remember the paper street that went through there. Again, I can't remember the details about it, Deb. I'm sure you do.
She contacted us as well.
Okay, all right. I
So,
just want to
Yeah,
close that I had that conversation. I,
Yep.
that we haven't received any applications, and I certainly would, I actually said, why don't you call Deb?
so she's talked to a couple of the planners on staff. We haven't, I've talked to a realtor a couple of times who's marketing it, but not any no real prospects.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
there's floodplain on that property, there's wetlands on the property, there's a number of issues, so.
Yeah, she did bring up to me, she said, well, my neighbor's been maintaining that property for all these years. And I said, well, if you choose to maintain a property that's not yours, that doesn't, it doesn't change much in my experience. That's your gig. If your neighbor was maintaining it, that means nothing. Yeah. Yeah.
And certainly not under your jurisdiction.
Exactly. Yes. So thank you for that. And not under our
Yeah.
jurisdiction.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's all I wanted to just make sure that I mentioned that.
Deb, how is our budding agriculturalist doing there with the expansion into the open space?
Oh, the one up in Fieldcrest?
Yeah, above Fieldcrest.
That made me think of him too, in the vacant lot, right?
Okay, I'm lost. I don't know which one you're talking about.
It's the one in, it's on the other side of 184. Off of Cow Hill Road, the road cuts in and then runs parallel.
I thought it was Fieldcrest.
No,
Okay, I'm confused.
Off of Cow Hill Road.
what's that development called?
Fieldcrest,
No, it's not Fieldcrest.
Deerfield?
Woodcrest.
Oh, you are talking about Deerfield. You're talking about the folks who put the garden,
Yeah,
that inadvertently put their garden over into open space.
Hmm.
Okay, I'm with you now. Okay. I have not been back up there. I know the Parks and Rec director said you can harvest stuff that's there, but then it has to be pulled out. I'll take a ride by.
I drove by, but you couldn't see much, and
Yeah, yeah. I know where to look.
I was thinking I might go up and cut in through the open space and then come down behind their properties and see what I see.
That'll be a hike. Yep, that'll be a wet hike.
Oh, I'm used to that.
Yep.
All right.
Those firefighter boots.
Mhm.
I'll wear my boots.
And so back to the public hearing, Deb, will we, can we have anybody to, or how does that gonna play?
Yeah, I need to figure out who and get a price and then let the applicant know.
Okay.
Go from there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's something that I've done recently with planning and zoning, with traffic engineers. Yeah,
I have a question. We are not bound in any way by that previous permit, are we, on that property?
that permit has expired.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it
But-
doesn't, it's nothing.
Well, and again, you'll have to take in the evidence at the hearing. I will probably remind you of the things that you can take into account in making your decision and things that you cannot. And you'll have to make a decision if there's any proven or alternative to what they're proposing.
And also maybe Deb, since we have, 3 members who haven't had the pleasure of having public hearings. So I'll start off just mentioning that, if they have questions, things that they want, it has to be part of the public record to base it. So can you say that in the right way, please?
Right. Everything has to be done at the meeting and in the public hearing. So you need to make sure that you get all of your questions answered and all the information you need to make a decision before the hearing's closed. Once it's closed, can't take any more information. And once it's closed, the alternates can't participate in the discussion. So you can participate all you like during the hearing, ask for whatever you think is appropriate during the hearing. But once the hearing's closed and deliberations start, you can't participate.
So Gary and I are the alternates, is that right? I'm not too sure. on
You
that.
are, but if someone can't attend during the deliberations, one of you might be appointed to be a regular member, and then you can participate in the discussion.
And
Your questions, alternates can still ask questions and.
During the hearing,
Yeah,
right.
Right.
Yep, full participation.
will we see the alternative approaches to solving this problem before the meeting?
It will go in the agenda packet for the public hearing. So you'll have the ability to look at it a little bit and sort of formulate your questions. And keep in mind, once the hearing's open, you don't have to close it that night. If you need more information, you can continue it to the next meeting.
That's what I was wondering, whether or not, if we decide they haven't really looked at all the alternatives.
Exactly. Yep.
Sometimes,
Courtney, I thought you were a regular member. I thought
Nope,
they-
5
I was-
regulars. 5 regulars, 2 alternates.
Yeah, at one point, Gary, when they were interviewing us, that's what they said, but I think it changed
Yeah.
somewhere along.
I thought they asked us which one of you would want to be alternate and which one would want to be regular. And I said, I didn't care. And then I thought they made you a regular.
Yeah.
And Courtney probably thought they made you a regular.
No, definitely.
No.
not. And I think it was bigger.
And you are a regular member now, Annie, just so you know that.
Thank you.
Right.
I told her. Sometimes it's useful. I've been known to write down on a yellow pad questions that I want to ask. just so, you know, when the hearing's going on, you can refer to that yourself, and you may need to turn the questions in as part of the public record, I assume, but, you know.
No, not really, not unless you're, I mean, if you ask them, you don't have to. But, you know, anything that you present to the commission during the hearing, you know, I don't know, any photographs or maps or something. It's not typically what happens with the agency members, but every now and again, somebody says, well, I drew this map and I think it's over here. You know, that sort of stuff definitely has to stay with the record.
All right,
All right,
other questions?
that's it for me.
All right, we need a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second it.
All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? All right. We'll
All
see
right.
everybody in 2 weeks.
All
Thanks,
right.
Deb.
Good night,
Hopefully-
everyone.
Night.
In person.
Bye.